We're watching Mix at 3. While GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Wegovy can be a helpful tool in achieving weight loss goals, sustaining those results after stopping the medication, that requires more of a holistic approach.
That's right. Dr. Janice Lester, an obese expert, shared some great steps you can take to reduce your risk of gaining all the weight back. Check this out.
Dr. Lester, thanks for joining us here this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you as well. It's an interesting topic here we're talking about. So how can individuals stay motivated if they need to stick to strategies over the long term post-Ozempic?
Such a great question. I talk about it almost every day in clinic. Everybody wants to start these medications because they're so popular, but no one wants to be on this for a long term, which is normal. And so what I tell patients is what we're using it for is to sort of get over that food noise thing that happens in the background, right? That's sort of the mechanism of how the medication works. It works on a hormone that affects things in your brain that sort of helps with those signals. And the key is consistent follow-up with your physician team. So we're making those changes, showing patients sort of how they feel when they eat particular foods. And so they start to notice, oh, you're absolutely right. I have more energy. I feel less fatigue. I have less joint pain. My skin is clearer. I have less brain fog. And then when they inevitably say, you know what, I haven't had, pizza in a long period of time or something, they'll notice, man, I had a slice of pizza and I felt heartburn, I felt bloated, I felt miserable the next day, I was more fatigued, my joint pain came back, and they start to associate sort of feeling well with more healthier eating. So it's really that the medication helps to sort of jumpstart you and get you going and to get rid of that thing that makes you have cravings all of the time. And then over time, it's really that consistent follow-up. I always tell patients it's really important to follow up.
Yeah, good. And Dr. Lester, can you provide examples of a balanced diet that supports long-term weight loss?
I love that. Great question. And so one of the things we talk about a lot is sort of patients focusing on increasing their fiber intake. That's one thing that most people in this country don't get a lot of. And that is really important because for several reasons. From like the nerdy GI part of it is that it sort of helps, the GI physiology part is that it helps to increase people being satiated for longer. And that's because fiber takes longer to digest. So trying to increase fiber in patients' diet and showing them how to do that by just changing sort of plate ratios, helping them get more vegetables, more fruits, and showing them sort of interesting ways to do that. So fiber is one huge thing. That also helps to regulate your blood glucose. So it does a lot of things, helps to change your microbiome. And so it changes sort of what you have cravings for. But also showing people how to get enough protein throughout their days as well. But recognizing that protein does not have to be a diet that's sort of completely meat heavy. And showing them fun and cool ways to get more protein, whether that be with tofu or beans or protein pastas or chickpea rice, or things people just really never consider. And so putting more emphasis on that and sort of showing them what a well-rounded meal looks like. And then they notice, oh, when I have a real meal, I'm more satiated longer. So then I'm not snacking. And that's really sort of the effect we're looking for.
Let's talk physical activity here. A sedentary life is not a good life when it comes to this. How does regular physical activity how can that contribute to active weight loss?
It's perfect. In the beginning, I always tell patients, most people have physical limitations due to weight. They have pain, they don't have the energy. And so it's like a cycle where I don't feel great, so I don't move, and it makes me not feel great. And so in the beginning, that's not where I really focus my energies because so much of it is what you're eating. But then people start to have more energy and then they want to move more. So it's beautiful. And so we just start slow. I tell patients, please don't go. You don't have to go to CrossFit. It's not that you got to go throw tires all day long. It's just slowly starting to get people moving. And just for general overall health, getting people started with, 150 minutes a week of just moderate activity. But recognizing for weight loss, it takes a little bit more vigor. It takes, increasing that heart rate a little bit more. but it's really, really helpful for maintaining for sure. So the nice thing is that, again, that mindset starts to change. You sort of get a little bit addicted to it, that movement and how you feel. And so and patients will notice, wow, the more active I am, I start to see body changes as well. So it's not just about the number on the scale, it's about how my body feels and the shape my body starts to take that a nicer form. So you don't having sagging skin and you sort of feel better in your body.
And Dr. Lester, what is important to check your weight after you stop taking Ozempic?
Did you say what's important about it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that with some of these medications and GLP medications in particular is sometimes people can lose skeletal muscle mass. And so it's important to pay attention to that. And so we monitor that when patients are coming into the office because we want to build muscle mass. We only want to lose fat mass. And so that's one of the really big things we really work on a lot. And so in getting people away from this idea of being so married to the scale and really thinking about non-scale wins as well. So not having fatigue, having energy, feeling satiated, reduced snacking, reducing blood pressure medicine or cholesterol medicines. These are all things that we want people to pay a lot of attention to rather than being so wrapped up with like a number on the scale. So checking, making sure you check in with your weight maybe like every 2 weeks, every month or so to make sure things aren't creeping back up, but you feel it.
Okay, so what if you do notice some weight gain? And, everybody's red flag is going to go flying about that.
Yeah, come back and make sure you are consistently following up with your doctor to see if there's something else that's going on. Sometimes it can be something that I had a patient whose thyroid needed to be checked and her medicines needed to be appropriately titrated. So thinking about other things that could be happening, or is it like a stressful time? Are you starting to emotionally eat? Did you just fall off track with sort of your water, or are you skipping meals now? Did you sort of start to get back a little bit more fast food? And I always tell patients life happens too, right? And so sometimes it's a matter of us saying, okay, it's really, really stressful at work for you right now. The reason you are eating out in the middle of the day because you don't have time that prep that you were using for that because you're working later. Let's try this meal delivery service. So that way we can have something that's easy for you, that's protein rich, fiber rich, and quick so that you're actually getting a meal rather than door dashing something or skipping altogether. So it's being flexible and finding people those things that are going to figure out what the issue is and then being able to find that solution for them.
All right, great advice to literally live by. We appreciate all the information. Again, Dr. Janice Laster, thanks so much.
Thank you guys. Have a good day.
All right, coming